Welcome to today's news on TV9. I'm Ada Show. In today's local news, government's funding for high-performance sports will be frozen for at least the next 2 years, while new car sales has surged in New Zealand last month. And good news for shepherds, as a new device will help them get text messages from their sheep when they're being attacked by wolves. A new crowdfunding website is using a concept of social networking to get projects started. The Kiwi site also has plans to take the interactive experience global. Christy Jai reports.
Crowdfunding is the increasingly popular method of collectively pooling resources to support new projects and initiatives. A new site created in Auckland aims to do just that, using the concept of social networking to help startups gain the funding required to get off the ground. Projects backed so far include the Kiwi surf film, which has been able to receive more than half of its funding goal since starting. The site's designer Ash Lomberg says the key difference is interaction.
If someone in the United Kingdom was backing a Kiwi project, and the Kiwi project was obviously in New Zealand dollars, they could back it in New Zealand dollars or British pounds. So we want to make a really interactive experience for the end user and for the project creator.
Lomberg says people often don't have an existing network when they start a project, so his website Social Backing was set out exactly to provide that platform for startups to share their ideas.
It really does start with people sending it out to their friends and family to ask for their initial support, and then as soon as people see momentum gaining behind a project, then they kind of get on board, and people who aren't usually within your circle or network will come along and back you.
Lomberg says the site already has plans to set up offices in the US, UK and Australia, and it will be the first of its kind to have multi-language functions. Social Backing takes 5% of the total funded amount for all projects, but if a project did not reach its funding goal, all money will be returned to the initial backers. Christy Zhao, 9 News.
The warehouse is living up to the catchphrase with red alerts that came to life on Monday. Keisha reports.
Online daily deals are attracting shoppers' attention like never before. Just a few well-known names like Grab One and Treat Me, and now there's a new kid on the block. The warehouse is expanding their philosophy where everyone gets a bargain. With the launch of its Red Alert daily deals, and emails will be sent to the subscribers, offering limited retail deals online. On the first day of their launch, the deals are Converse All-Stars at $49 a pair, MAC Makeup from $21, an Apple MacBook Pro 13-inch 2.5 GHz at $1,599, which sold out within hours as expected. The warehouse also offers virtually its entire product range online and aims to become New Zealand's largest general merchandise and apparel online retailer. Kate Chow, 9 News.
According to Statistics New Zealand, July's food price was led by a 4.4% hike in fruits and vegetables, which was led by an 84% increase in kumara prices to the highest level since February 2008. Non-alcohol beverages rose 0.1%, while restaurants' meals and ready-to-go meals fell 0.1%, along with meats, poultry and fish prices down 0.2%. New Zealand athletes have done exceptionally well in the medal haul at the London Olympics. But despite that, government's funding for high-performance sports will be frozen for the next 2 years because of financial concerns. Christy Jai reports.
The London Olympics are well and truly over, and there have been good games for the New Zealand team, which has largely punched above their weight by winning 5 gold medals and a record equaling 13 in total. But the government has announced that it will freeze funding for high-performance sports for the next 2 years, citing financial constraints imposed by a zero budget. Auckland City Councillor and former Olympian Dick Quack says it's the right decision to make.
We're going through very difficult economic times at the moment, and the government is trying to save in lots of different areas, and I think that sport has to play its part.
The UK has pledged a $964 million funding boost for British athletes to prepare for the Rio Games in 2016. But Quack says the New Zealand government's funding decision won't be disheartening for our own Olympic heroes.
At the end of the day, I think that most of the motivation that athletes get is not from seeing that, well, I'm going to get some money or my sport is going to be better funded or whatever. It comes from within and wanting to do something personally for yourself and for your country.
Quack says New Zealand is a small country with limited resources, and the fact that we have done much better than countries that are better endowed and geographically closer to major competitions shows that we are doing something right. The government has promised to look at sports funding again for the 2014 budget. Christy Zhao, 9 News.
Parents and school children would be familiar with Duffy books and wonderful comments would be said. Today our reporter has attended one of the school leader assemblies to see what it has to offer. Keisha has more.
School assemblies don't have to be so dull at Onehunga Primary School, because it is made special by former students incorporating inspiring speeches, music and singing in the assembly. As part of the Duffy Books initiatives, School Leader Assemblies is all about inviting senior high school students to speak about their love of books and reading, and how it can make all the difference to the next step of education.
My favourite book from the Duffy kids was The Lighthouse Keeper's Lunch. That was my favourite book because it's got a lot of artwork in it and a lot of pictures. I love the pictures, especially in primary school, and the artwork in it inspired me to carry on with art throughout high school, and it's also inspired me to carry on with it and apply for a Bachelor of Art and Design at AUT next year.
Even now, I'm a school librarian at my school in Onehunga High School, so yeah, it's good. I love reading because yeah, it just takes you away.
Duffy Books in Homes regularly sends well-known role models to visit its 532 schools, but having speakers closer to their own age helps send the message across more effectively.
Really spectacular assembly. It's because I really like the music. They're really good at playing it.
Great. What about you, Pia?
Yeah, it was a really great assembly. The OHS people were really great at doing music and things like that. It was really cool.
And you?
I think it was fun to have this assembly and to be hosting it, and it's really inspiring because we can be inspired and do the things that they're going to do if we go to Onehunga High.
I think they will be buzzing. They will be buzzing all day, because one of the items that was given, that was put up by the Onehunga High students, they know that song. So they will be walking around and talking about the performance by the Onehunga High School students.
Since the official launch in 1995, the Duffy Books in Home program has distributed more than 8 million books to children in Low Decile schools. Kay Chow, 9 News.
New car sales continue to fly the flag for economic recovery, with strong sales recorded across the markets. Experts predict the trend is likely to continue for the foreseeable future. Christy Jai reports.
The new vehicle industry continues to outperform other sectors of the economy as strong sales were recorded both in June and July, with registration for the first 7 months of the year up 20% from 2011. Last year's supply problem brought on by the Japanese earthquake has largely subsided, and many people who have been holding off buying have finally decided to upgrade.
With June, there was some rental companies increasing their fleets coming into the ski season. There was also a lot of field day specials that were still running on through June. In July, that's still been the case, and we've also got a really good supply of new cars out there at the moment.
The recent fall in petrol prices may have been a factor, but car expert Bruce Johnson says exact drivers behind the surge in sales are difficult to gauge, although he expects the rising trend to continue in the near future.
There's a bit of confidence around the new car market at the moment, and it's we think we probably will continue to see relatively strong results there over the next few months.
Johnson says there are a lot of good deals out there in the market, but prices probably won't change from where they are at the moment. Christy Zhao, 9 News.
European countries like France and Switzerland are troubled with wolf attacks on their sheep farms. Swiss researchers are hoping to calm shepherds' fears with a new collar that detects sheep in distress. Keisha has more.
The wolf was hunted almost to extinction in France in the 1930s, but protected as an endangered species, it is making a surprising comeback. Almost 600 attacks in which more than 2,000 sheep have been killed in France this year. The situation is much better in Switzerland. Spooked sheep has motivated Swiss scientists to create a collar for sheep that detects when the sheep is stressed by wolves and then sends a text message to their shepherd. The collar contains a heart rate monitor, which has recently been field tested to gauge the level of stress sheep experience when faced with a wolf attack. When under attack, the sheep's heart rate shot from a resting 60 to 80 beats per minute to 225, indicating levels at which a text message to the shepherd may be warranted. The team also plans on fitting the collar with a wolf repellent, either using chemicals or sound to drive the wolf away without harming it. The final version is due to be tested in France and Switzerland in 2013, and other countries with wolf problems are also showing interest in the device. Kay Chow, 9 News.
Now we have a TV9 host from Asia Focus, Julie Nixon, to comment on no need for Maori seats.
Political parties will have a lower threshold to enter Parliament under proposed changes to the MMP electoral system. The Electoral Commission suggests lowering the threshold from 5 to 3 to 4% of the party vote, with 4% being preferable. The Commission also proposes abolishing the rule which allows MPs to win an electorate seat to bring others into Parliament, the so-called coattails rule. This means parties would have to get above the 3 or 4% of the vote to get more MPs into Parliament. There are two interrelated problems with these recommendations. First, they'll open the door to more political parties which could potentially slow down decision-making processes and destabilise the government. Second, there is no consideration of the concept of Maori seats. If the door to more minor parties is going to be opened even wider, surely we don't need Maori seats. Currently the Maori Party has more electorate seats than its share of the party vote, which means the number of seats they have is out of proportion with the number of voters who support them on a per capita basis. This is unequitable. If the threshold drops to 3%, there's an even stronger argument to get rid of Maori seats, because such a low threshold would allow a proliferation of small parties. However, I agree that there should not be more than 120 MPs and that list MPs should continue to be able to stand in by-elections. The review of MMP electoral system follows a referendum held during last year's general election, which found that 41% of voters wanted MMP changed. It began in February with a consultation paper. Submissions on proposals are open until September the 7th.
Thank you, Julian. Now let's take a short break and we'll be